I asked for researchers to research the prevalence of blackmailing with framed provoked evidence using police officers, tenant protection, the amount of the efforts that have been made to frame me, to blackmail me, and then to be cruel to someone in ways that are not recognized by the law, and the fact that the police participate in refusing to enforce the law, refusing to see that this is happening. And that the reporting of it, the city council, the person at the city council blocks the communication of this. To me, this has to be looked at. This is serious. The efforts made and the methods used to prevent the reporting of this to the people to whom it matters, that need to make change. How many people in America have been framed and are being blackmailed? How many politicians? This method itself must be prevented from being used. Blackmailing with framed evidence. To be so cruel to someone, to get them to hurt you and then use that to blackmail them. So this girl, Justine Taylor, the wounds on her legs, find out who did that to them and what happened. She herself has told me her former boyfriend is in jail. Okay, the people she has put in jail. There's prostitutes that are expert in putting people in jail with framed, provoked evidence. So prostitutes do proposition cops, they do proposition city officials, they do proposition politicians, right? It goes all the way. The president has, remember with Putin and in the hotel room with pissing prostitutes, presidents can be framed with evidence. Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky. Well, Monica didn't blackmail Bill Clinton, but it could have. How much of who's that Stormy Daniels framing Trump? So that would make sense that this method is protected and is not looked at. How much of government policy, the laws that are used to perpetuate this method that's been inflicted on me, the policies, them saying we can't, it's against our law to look at the stuff she's done to the previous people because it's outside of jurisdiction. Who came up, did the person who came up that law with that policy, how were they influenced? The people who train police academy students, when the landlord is telling you that the squatter is a criminal, but they say, what are we here for today? It's a civil thing. The people who came up with those policies that are taught in police academy, what is the origin of these laws that allow lawsuit abuse and the scams that are prevalent? The fact that there's so many scams that hurt so many people, and what happened in my house and is still happening, is so clearly enforced by the police knowingly, and the city council member is blocking the communication of it. So much effort is made in blocking the communication of what happened to me by city council member, who's the Facebook page of manager of Sepulveda Basin Dog Park, who kicked me out of that page because I was posting this, saying it doesn't belong here. All of the reasons she gave. So I post the flyers are being scratched out, and the flyers are being called, a flyer on the bulletin board is being called vandalism, is being called defacing public property. And I have this dialogue that I have with this lady at the dog park that keeps on insisting, do not waste your time posting it, going to the city council. Do not waste your time putting it in the Facebook page. Then they said, don't put it to the dog park, and then don't go to the city council, go other methods. Why is it so important that this cruel method of profiting from cruelty, using police enforcement to get property for gangs, and it's used by gangs? Property in the city is acquired by gangs using the police, and the reporting of it is so much effort put into preventing the reporting of it by city council member, who is the administrator of the Facebook page of the Sepulveda Basin Dog Park. Research this and research all of the houses that have 911 calls repeatedly, daily, over years, over 6 months. Research every house that has repeated 911 calls over 6 months, daily or weekly, over 6 months, and see what's going on there. Why is that issue not being resolved? And is the property, as that property, ownership of that property at the end of that episode, when the 911 calls stop, is there a resolution made? Is there a bribe paid? Is the house, ownership of the house, transferred? Is the landlord put in jail? Is the landlord giving a bribe? Is the landlord charged with a crime? Look into this. Get this message. It has to reach the Supreme Court, the President, the Congress. The amount of corruption and the amount of effort put into prevention of reporting this atrocity going across the country, and it's done in a way to stay below the radar. This must get attention. Look into this. The sanctity of freedom of speech. The freedom of speech is a universal right granted to us in the First Amendment, and it's for this purpose that my message gets through to the President, to Congress, to the Supreme Court, and this be looked at. I'm Zeke Matevosian.